So we were new to the US market, and we're a new concept in general as a startup company. So bringing a new concept to a new market that you're not necessarily very familiar with was a challenge, obviously. And we were seeking for someone who understands, corporate America, and could really integrate to our team's culture, educate us, and help us lead the way in building the right path from a go-to-market strategy standpoint. Um, that way we were, and that's how we got to find you guys. We had two challenges. One is getting in front of potential clients. So how do we even get to the room? And secondly, is while in the room and pitching, understanding what the feedback in the room really is. I always share, I can speak English very well. I can understand English, but I don't necessarily understand American. And there's some nuances that you need to know from the culture and others. Sometimes it's going to be a body language even, or things of that sort that we couldn't necessarily point. So that the kind of a hand holding we needed when going to market. So I basically started our office here in the US, and I was by myself trying to find the right team members to join me on this road. And the whole HR team was me, myself, and I. Therefore, the selecting process wasn't as effective as you can imagine because I had like a million of other things I had to do in parallel. So we found someone who was good for us at the time to join us in order to lead the sales efforts, and we worked with her for a certain period of time. We've learned a lot from her. But we also learned that we just don't fully understand the process. We don't fully understand uh, the machine that we're trying to build. We're just getting a very ad hoc feedback from ad hoc opportunities without understanding the full picture, a full strategy. So we realize, okay, maybe that's not exactly the right fit. We need someone with more strategic, holistic point of view, and that's how we got to William. So I think the bottom we got is like getting insights on particular opportunities without seeing each tree without seeing the forest. Uh, and that's what where I think for fractional executive with a lot of experience could really help. Building the mechanism, building the machine, the sales machine, from a playbook standpoint to SOPs to strategy, not just the deal per deal, but also how do we build something that will be repeatable over time, sustainable over time, and will create us value over time. Uh, yeah, that was what we're thinking. That what we're actually getting from William. The first we was try it ourselves, soon to realize again that we just need someone American to be with us there to understand the culture. Then we found someone who was good, great hustler, and but again it was very much narrow to the specific opportunities rather than seeing the bigger picture from a strategy standpoint. So yeah, we were trying ourselves. Then we were trying with a different executive to help us, and later realized that we need a different type of executive, not just a hustler, but someone who's more strategic with experience. I don't remember how I got through you. What I do know though, that when I went to your website, exploring you before even reaching out, I saw I forgot his name now. From University Startups. Forgot his name.
Oh, Mark Stern.
Mark Stern. I saw Mark Stern's testimonial there. And I know Mark Stern from the Techstars. We were together there. And well, if he's saying good stuff, it's probably a good destination. So I'll just follow that. I talked to him very briefly. He said highly things. And so yeah, I'll just move on. And yeah, I don't remember how exactly I found you guys, but as I remember that when I found you, I was soon to realize I got to the right place. And yeah, maybe on that point, we took the first meeting, I think, and you were relentlessly generous. You gave so much tons of value right away. And I was like, hey, do you mind if we meet again? Sure, as many times as you need. Like, yeah, okay, good. And then we got to one point, and then you had in mind William, or we got to meet him, and he was also relentlessly kind. Say, hey, don't worry, I'm here to help. Let me know if we'll get to a point where you'll feel like you want to partner with me to a more, work relationship, I'll be here. But for now, I'm all focusing on getting you value. Biggest fear was, well, I had two, I guess. The first one was around, whether it's going to be a fit or not, and how quickly will the fractional executive will be able to learn about us and understand our business and go with it. And it's fractional, so would he be able to deliver enough value with being fractional and not full time? That was one. Then it's soon to change to, well, it is brings a lot of value, so like with this again initial meetings, what if we actually want to hire him for later for a longer period? Would that put us in some challenges with this with the lawyer or anything like that? Yeah, my understanding it's not, and it's all about getting everyone's win out of this. It was just a level of conviction. I was super impressed by every meeting with him of how smart he is, how fast thinker, first learner he is, how genuinely caring he is to our success. So I was like, I just fell in love with I like this is the type of person I want to work with. And yeah, I was seriously impressed. I was seriously impressed with the quality and professionalism. I thought, wow, I can just learn so much by working with this guy. It was good. I mean, we got a whole plan for the next 3 or 4 months at the beginning, what we got actually gonna focusing on and how we're gonna achieve. It was break down to a lot of simple, short bullet points. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do this, and that. So that built a lot of clarity to me of what is that we're going about together, and ensuring that we're sharing the same goals in mind of what need to be achieved by working together. Oh, so one is actually related to that. We can plan it however, but then market will teach us something different. So it was a lot about going out of the building, meeting customers, and tune ourselves according to that. A lot of trial and errors because again, early in the market and early with this concept, so we just had to try many different things. Um, and so ensuring we're doing that carefully, ensuring that we're doing that with a good analytical mind in the room was very helpful. Yeah, so that's one of the main takeaways, I guess. And like, we could have our plans, but eventually it's about customer discovery and see what's the actual like our customers are telling us. And that's what I believe led a lot also by William. I think he was doing it himself as well. So he was not just guiding us, hey, you should do this and that, and let me know what you hear. It was more like I'll do it with you, and I want to know myself so I could be able to later offer some suggestions and advice. The level of commitment. To be honest, that was really surprising to me. I think it's super hard to build commitment when it's just part-time, just a few hours in a week. That way I thought. I thought, well, you'll be able to help us. I'm gonna learn a little bit from it, but we're gonna separate because you'll have other stuff and the bigger opportunities you'll get or whatever. And but I'm surprised, and now I think it's almost 2 years, right? It's the level of commitment to our success, day in, day out, his availability, his commitment to getting to the truth of the bone of what needs to be done. It's impressive. And I haven't seen it anywhere else. I guess the hardest part is maybe was for me the being sensitive on his hours because I can be very demanding and there's always more work to be done and always more things and I think and he would never tell me no. He was never going to tell me no. Like it's over the time we're committed. Like it's over. And he would never say something like that. Uh, so it's more on me than he would never say it. So don't push the envelope. Be a mensch from your side. So that was one of my challenges, like keeping that balance. Well, I think there was some skepticism at the beginning from our chairperson. Of, well, it's going to be just a few hours a week. How meaningful could that be? Like, we need someone it's a startup. We'll do like not just 24/7, but 25/7. Someone and I honestly believe in myself that it's not about just working hard. It's about working smart. And I thought, well, he's incredibly smart. I should put them together. So at one point, I just introduced them. We had a meeting with him, and William kind of outlined the strategy, and I think he was super impressed. Like, oh my God, like how come, like wow. So this was, I think, and that's gonna break down the skepticism out of the room, and yeah, that's how we dealt with that as well. Well, I didn't feel like I wanted to quit or end the engagement, but I have felt, I think. In sales, it's very simple to measure the results. Okay, have you hit your sales targets or not? Have you, like this month, this quarter, this year? And I mean, I think we can influence, we cannot control the results, we can influence the results. So it's hard, it's sometimes hard to, are we hitting the results we were hoping to hit? Not yet, not yet. Are we making improvement? Absolutely, quarter over quarter. So that's creates some hesitance sometimes. That creates some discomfort sometimes because we're not at the goals we hope we'll be yet. But I think that goes back to the commitment. I think that as long as I feel there's a full commitment on the team and progress that is being made, results will come later. So it's not like I'm ignoring the results or not result oriented. I am very much aware that I'm bothered, right? We haven't met them yet, but I'm very optimistic and convinced that we'll get them if we'll keep the same way, same work we've done so far. To mention is one of our approach in the go-to-market market, even more on the side of on the marketing side of things, of how do we reach out to customers. We had some experiments, and one of them worked surprisingly successfully, which we call the unlock approach. That was an experiment we run together with William at the time, and I think that was like, wow, this is working. Now we can build some SOPs around it and the playbook around it. That was one. Secondly, is the kind of the model, the business model or revenue model, I should call it. And okay, now that we know what's the go-to-market strategy, let's put some assumptions on the on what we believe we'll be able to get and what the conversions, what the numbers, the volume, etc. William helped to build that model, and then we can tweak with that and see where it takes us further along. So that model by itself was super valuable, and we're still working with it on putting different assumptions. And during 2024, we've been able to sell more every quarter. So we've been growing quarter over quarter for five quarters in a row. And that wasn't accumulated. So every quarter we're selling more than we were selling the previous one. That causes in a tremendous growth in an annual perspective, and that's how I currently lead the pitching for fundraising as well. Because the only way you could get to these metrics is if you'll figure out something in the market. There's no other way. I mean, there's no the magic that happened. It's a result of figuring out something that is working, and what is working is our new go-to-market strategies, the messaging we put in, the system we've put in. Um, how do we handle the sales calls? What do we do before? What do we do after? Those type of processes is what William helped us put in place, and we still keep on optimizing them. And that's the result. I think 55% growth in over the year. That's the result. I'm very proud and on the whole team, but definitely for William for on leading this. Yeah, I could try to put more lights on this. So basically, many of our investors were very much focusing on the ARR metric. So it's a sentiment in the VC world, I guess, sometimes all around growth, 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 sometimes all around the ARR, ARR, ARR. And in the past year, I think it was primarily around the ARR. And they were just so much obsessed with show us, the revenue, show us the revenue, show us the revenue. And therefore, I guided the team that, okay, if that's what they're looking for, we should focus on short term, not just the long term, but short term, immediate revenue goals. And no matter what the goals are, even more important than that is our ability to show process and growth quarter over quarter. And that's where we put our focus on. And that's again, that's a result that I'm very proud of, and that's what's helped us now with our fundraising efforts. And I give a lot of credit to that to William on understanding that as being an entrepreneur himself in his past, and I guess in his spirit, understanding that and having us do the right balance between the short term and long term goals of the company. So today we understand the market so much better than we had before. We still have questions. It's an ever-going learning experience, I feel. So I guess we'll ever have these, some questions, but we feel much more confident. We feel much more matured. We have more references to show. We know better how to work internally from small sales organization. We are able to set more realistic goals. I think that's important because otherwise it gets you to frustration, and that's sometimes just entrepreneurship is also a mental journey, and if you can set yourself to failure very quickly and very easily just by setting the wrong goals or not being realistic with what makes sense to set as goals. So and it's a challenge by itself. Setting these goals is a challenge because you don't want to, shoot too low, but not too high. Yes, I can think about a few moments where I can talk about, a meeting that we had with a VC, and they want to know more about our revenue model. Then I brought our fractional CRO to the room, and he knows to speak the language way better than I could. Some of them was accounting, terms and things that, to be honest, I wasn't necessarily aware of or familiar with enough. I can give another example with a client, right? It was a hospital. I never worked with American hospitals ever. I don't know what their style is and what they're, really care about, etc. So having someone has over 10 years, I guess, experience in selling to hospitals completely changed the dynamic of that meeting. Like you could actually see he knows how to speak with them. I don't. So having someone like that in the room was just two examples of those moments where like, oh, thank God he's with us. I have no idea how I would build that meeting without him. So the first advice is taking the first one, two, three meetings with you, Mike, and with William, and get to know more how relentlessly kind you are, and ask them everything. Consider them at least in the second and third meeting as they're already part of your team, and you can just talk about everything openly and your hesitations, your concerns, and be as open as you can with them, so they can really understand what your needs are. And you'll be, I guess, impressed as much as I did with their generosity and kindness and value they're bringing right away. So there's nothing. Nothing to lose there. And then when you get this, I guess, second, third meeting and confident, an impression probably the same that I had. I would suggest going with a 3 month period or a 3 or 4 months period, kind of testing the water further along. You're a little bit more, and if it's not going to work, it's not going to work. You can scope it as a more of a scope type of period project and evaluate it at the end of it if that's for you or not. In our case, that ended up with 2 years, I guess, contract. Hopefully that will happen to you, but if not, nothing happened. So there's no real risk here.